So guys, now let's learn about arrays. Okay, basically you can create arrays in multiple ways. I'll show that one by one. Okay, I'll just create a variable called numbers. Okay, numbers. Okay, and that will contain some numbers obviously, and to create an array you can just write a box bracket, and inside that you can just write unlimited number of things. Okay, so I'll just write some numbers. Yeah, perfect. So there are 8 numbers now, and there is second method, that is to use the constructor method. That means you need to use new array, right? So I'll just write const numbers 2, and that will be equals to new, then array, then you can just write some numbers obviously. So assume 22, 40, 34, 56, 78. That's it. So now let's quickly see whether it is working or not, right? So console.log, and I'll pass first numbers. Okay, now if I save it, you can see it printed 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, right? So that means it's working. And similarly, if I just pass numbers 2, and now if I save it, you can see it's also working. So you can also use this constructed method. So now you can see at 0 position there is 22, then 1 position, 1 index there is 34, 2 index 56, and so on, right? And you can, it's not about only numbers, you can just put strings, null values, booleans, anything over there. So I'll just create one string array. Okay, so const str, and that will contain, or I'll just write fruits, and that will contain some fruit names. So I'll just write some fruit name like mango, then orange, then grapes. Yeah, that's it. Now if I save, okay, I need to pass these fruits inside this log, and now if I save it, you can see it's at 0th position, it's mango, then grapes, then sorry, it's orange, yeah, then orange, then grapes, right? And it's not about like only a single data type. See, we wrote the numbers variable which contains only a single data type, that is integers, right? In fruits we have only single data type, that is string, but you can mix them all, right? So I'll just write const mixed, and that will contain some mixed data type. So I'll just write 1, which is number, then I'll just write maybe bus, which is string, then I can write true, which is boolean value, then I can write null, then undefined, then you can also write an array inside an array. So I'll just make one more box bracket, and here I'll just pass 2, 3, 4, which is obviously an array, right? Then we can write some constructor as well. For example, we already learned the date data type, right? So for that you can just write new date this thing, right? So now if I save it, okay, actually I need to pass mixed over here, and now if I now if I save it, you can see all are showing, right? So the first one is 1, then bus, then true, null, undefined. Then inside this total array we have another array that is, that's containing 2, 3, 4. Then we have our today's date, actually, that is July 21st. That is Tuesday, and the time is 1:12 p.m. right? So in this way you can create an array. Now let's see how to find the length of an array. So I'll just write length. And to find the length of an array, you can just write, I'll just create one variable. So let val, okay, and I'll just write over here val is equals to, for example, I want to find the length of these numbers variable. So numbers dot length. Okay, now if I pass val over here and save this JS file, you can see the length is actually 8. That means there are 8 elements inside the numbers array. Okay, and there is you can also find out whether it is an array or not. So I'll just write check if is array. Okay, so val is equals array, then dot is array, then you have to pass the variable which is actually an array or not. You can just find out that thing. So I'll pass numbers, and if I pass, then if I save it, you can see it's printing true. That means numbers is an array, right? So if I just name xyz, const xyz equals to 1, and you can clearly see it is not an array, right? So now if I pass xyz over here, and now if I save it, you can see it's showing false. That means xyz variable is not an array. Okay, and there is like you can find the single value, so I'll just write get single value. Okay, and to find out the single value, you can obviously use the indexing method. So we already learned if you print the numbers at 0 index, there is 1 value, then 1 index there is 2 value, then so on, right? So for example, if you wanna print this 4 over here, you can just write val is equals to numbers, then inside the box bracket you can just write 3. That means 4 is in 3 index, right? So now if I save it, you can see it printed 4. So in this way you can just pass get some single values. Okay, so that means you can also change the values. For example, you can see at this third index we have 4 value, right? So in numbers we have 4 values at the third index, but you can just change that as well. So I'll just write changing value, and I'll need to write numbers 3, and that will be equals to, assume I want to change this 4 with 10. Okay, and now if I just write val is equals to numbers, and now if I save it, you can see at that position where we have 4 before, and now it is 10, right? So 1 2 3, then 10, then 5 6 7 8. If you click on it, you can see at the third index we have this 10 value right now. Okay, so in this way you can change some values. Similarly, if you don't know the index of a particular value, you can just use the index of. So I'll just write index of, and val is equals to numbers dot index of, and I wanna find out the index of this 7. Okay, so I need to pass 7 over here, and now if I save it, you can see it is printing 6. That means 7 is at 6 index position. Okay, and now you can push, pop some elements from an array. That means you can insert or delete some data, some elements from an array. Okay, so I'll just show you like how to insert a data. Okay, inserting element to an array. Okay, and I'll just write val is equals to numbers dot push, and then you can just write any values. For example, I wanna write 9. Okay, now if I save it, actually I need to change this val, so I'll just remove this val and I'll pass numbers over here. Okay, numbers, and now if I save it, you can see after 8, that means 1 2 3, and it is showing 10 over here. That is because of we already changed this number 3, like third index to 10, so that's why it is showing 10 over here. Then 5 6 7 8, and then we added 9 over here, right? Similarly, if you wanna add the element to the beginning of the array, you can just write unshipped. Okay, so I'll just write numbers numbers dot unshipped, and I'll just write 0. Okay, so you can see there is no 0 before 1, right? So now if I save it, you can see now there is 0 before 1. So in this way you can add some elements at the beginning of an array. Okay, and then now let's see how to delete some element from an array. So I'll just quickly copy this thing and paste it over here and change it with delete. So to delete an element from like at the end of an array, you can just use the pop method. So numbers dot pop. So you can see we have 9 at the end of that particular array. Now if I save it, you can see now 9 is removed, right? And similarly, if you wanna pop some element from the beginning of an array, that is 0 over here, so in that case you can just use shift. Okay, so numbers dot shift, and now if I save it, you can see now 0 is removed and 1 2 3, it is starting from 1, right? And there is reverse. If you wanna make this array to the reverse, that means 8 will be now in the first position and 1 will be in the last position. So in that case you can use the reverse method. So numbers dot reverse, so now you can see it is totally an reverse array, right? And now assume we have numbers, right? And now if I just print numbers 2, console.log numbers 2, now if I save it, you can see we have this 8 7 6 5 10 3 2 1 in one array, then we have 22 34 56 and 78 in another array. And now assume if you wanna merge these two array, that means if you wanna concatenate these two array, you can just use concat method. Okay, so I'll just write numbers dot concat, and then inside the parenthesis you can just pass the second variable. Okay, I'll just pass numbers 2, right? And now let's just save this total array, that means this merged array, inside one variable. I'll just name it val. Okay, val is equals to this thing, so I'll just need to print console.log val. Now if I save it, you can see, okay, there is number 2 is not defined. It should be numbers 2. Okay, so yeah, now if I save it, you can see this was the numbers array, this was the numbers 2 array, and now it is totally merged, and you can see both are inside one array, right? So now let's just comment out this total thing, and now let's see some other methods. Okay, so I'll just put comment over here, and now let's see sorting. Okay, I'll just write sorting. Okay, and for example, we have these fruits, right? So we have this fruits array, so let's just print that thing out first of all. So console.log, and the variable is fruits, this one. Yeah, perfect. Now if I save it, you can see we have mango, orange, and grapes. But if you want to sort this array with alphabetical order like we have in dictionaries, so in that case you can just use sort method. Okay, so I'll just name this variable called val is equals to fruits dot sort. Okay, and I need to pass vals over here, and now if I save it, you can see now grapes is at the first position, then we have mango, then orange, right? That means G comes before M and M comes before O in alphabets, right? So that's how these things works. And now assume we have numbers, right? We have this numbers 2. I'll just change it with something like 89 over here. So now if I just write like this, console.log numbers 2, and now if I save it, you can see we have 22, 89, 56, 78. So that means if you sort it this array, it will be like 22, then 56, then 78, then 89, right? So 89 should be in the last position. But if you just use like val is equals to numbers 2 dot sort, okay, and now if I just print that out, console.log val, and now if I save it, you can see it's working, right? So in this way you can sort numbers array also. Now we have one more method, that is find. Okay, I'll just put that comment, put this inside a comment, and now let's see about the find method. Okay, so I'll just write find method, and this is basically you have to use some functions. Okay, I know you don't know about functions in JavaScript, but we will learn that in next few lectures. Okay, but right now you can just understand the basic things. Okay, so the find method basically use like when you have an array and you want to find something with some conditions. For example, we have an array like this 22, 56, 78, and 89, right? And now assume I want to know the numbers which is less than 50. That means only 22 and 56 should be printed. So in that case you can use the find method. Okay, so I'll just quickly make a function called under 50 maybe, and then inside the parenthesis I need to pass the variable that is like numbers 2, right? And then put a curly braces, and then inside the curly braces you can just write the conditions like return when the value is less than 50, right? So I'll just change it with num so that you can understand properly. So we have a number and it will return the number if the num, that means the number, is less than 50. Okay, this is the condition which you want. And now let's just use that thing. So I'll just name it val, and inside the val we will just write numbers 2, because in numbers 2 we have these values 22, 18, and 56, and 78. So numbers 2 dot find, and inside the parenthesis you can just pass the function which you created, which is actually under 50, right? So let's just do that, and now let's print this out. Okay, console.log val. Right now if I save it, okay, there is some error, number 2 is not defined. Okay, it's numbers 2 again, I'm missing that thing. So now if I save it, you can see it's printing only 22. That is because of except 22. Okay, yeah, 56 is obviously greater than 50, and all the values are greater than 50. We have only 22 which is less than 50. So this is all about array. Okay.